It's me, Nicole, on Sunday, November 3rd at 5:12 a.m. The saga continues. I'm documenting what's happening with this project that so far I've been calling Mobilize Humanity, where it started with this download on Thursday, October 24th. Wow, I remember the date. After I'd watched Seth Klein's short film called blah, blah, blah. Anyway, what I haven't documented yet is that shortly after getting the download and reaching out to the Possibility Creation Village and having Clinton Callahan respond with the creating of a website, some communications with me. The first time I looked at that website, I was just floored because he had titled it Mobilize for Archiarchy, and it was really about, it appeared to be about the handbook. And the handbook is a feature of his novel Cavitation, Emergence of Archiarchy. And the handbook is this book that is found by a few people, some of them through inheritance, some of them through chance, which are two ways that the Earth's Coincidence Control Office seems to do its work. And so this website titled Mobilize for Archiarchy was full of it started with something like, wouldn't it be great if you had a handbook that told you how to create archiarchy? It's like, you do, or you will. Anyway, when I first saw the website, it was entitled Mobilize Humanity, and I was like, oh shit, this is really wild. And Clinton gave me the back end for it, and yet at the same time told me that the website that I had built, Mobilize Humanity for Gaia, was basically a duplicate of Mobilize Humanity for Archiarchy, or Mobilize for Archiarchy. And I heartily disagreed because it looked like it was about the handbook and creating archiarchy through using the handbook. And he said he didn't answer, and he gave me the back end. And when I went to look again, after having sent a link to this website to a dozen or so people, I saw it had nothing on it. I thought I was going nuts. Like, it was like, what the fuck? And then I was mad at Clinton. I was like, you just removed all this gold. Like, where did you put it? Where is it? How could you do that? And when we got it straightened out just 2 days ago, he let me know that he'd started making this Mobilize for Archiarchy website by duplicating the handbook website, and then he hadn't had time to delete it all. So what I saw later was like empty, and this kind of pressure I got in me from school, from being parented with pressure, was like, you have to fill this, Nicole. It's your job. You have to make this website what it was when it had all the information about the handbook in. And I just thought, well, I'm just going to refer people to the handbook website and say, use this to mobilize for archiarchy, which is a little bit maybe of a cop-out, but okay. So a couple of other things that happened is I wrote to Seth Klein, whose film had kind of been the most noticeable domino in the domino effect of this project coming to life. And I had written Jim the week before, inviting him to read Cavitation, or asking him if I could give him the book to read. And then when he didn't write back, and a couple of weeks had gone by, I wrote him again saying, I want to tell you what happened after watching your film. And inviting him to look at the website. So I don't know what it cost for him not to see the handbook website. In any case, he wrote back yesterday and basically said, good for you. I don't see how large-scale change can happen without the government being the one who initiates it. And I wrote back a very polite letter saying, if you ever change your mind or if you ever decide that you want to come unnumb, let me know. Which may land as rude. I didn't say it like that. In any case, I just think a lot could happen in 4 years by people who mean to run for government and who would be the government it would take to implement such a measure. And I think a lot of people could get a lot done in 4 years who are ready to do it and aren't waiting for the government. I think there are enough people in Canada who wouldn't want to wait for the government that they would join an initiative. In any case, the other thing that's happened is that so October 24th was the week before the provincial election in British Columbia, where I am living right now. And so over the course of the next little while, I watched my friend Chris Hergesheimer of the Green Party, call him my friend, he might be surprised to hear that, and my long time ago roommate, Sonia Furstenau, who's the leader of the Green Party. I watched them both not get elected to office, and I thought, shoot, here already are people who are mobilized for humanity, for Gaia. Not yet for Archiarchy, though some Green Party members think of themselves as so far outside the status quo that they might think of themselves as cultural change agents. And I just, great, yeah, I think you're definitely edge workers. That is clear. But when it comes to the edge of patriarchy, if you think that government is going to be the way to go, then I think that you're not past the edge of modern culture. So I've had a chance to speak with a Green Party candidate who did not win her seat. Her name is also Nicole, and she's based here in Nelson, where I'm visiting right now. And I feel a lot of joy because she generously made time to hear me out about Mobilize Humanity. And though her response was, I'm not looking for a new project right now, which is not exactly her words. She said she wasn't looking for a new framework. And yeah, I feel scared about this because if her thoughtware using her thoughtware, she perceived what I was offering as a framework likened to the other frameworks that she's worked in. I mean, what I was offering was a game world. It is a game world. This project is a game world. It's very small right now because this project is about being on a team called Team Gaia. And the scary and terrifying thing is that Every human alive is on Team Gaia. Every human who ever lived on planet Earth has been on Team Gaia. And some of the humans on Team Gaia are more consciously on Team Gaia, or more unconsciously on Team Gaia on a scale that is not linear, but definitely has a trajectory of possibility for becoming more consciously on Team Gaia. And the thing about Gaia and her beloved human monkeys, and I say her beloved human monkeys because we are clearly beloved of Gaia. Look at all we're granted. We're granted life. We're granted these incredible saltwater computer / meat suits, totally organic. And yet we're busy making AI. I just don't get it. Okay, we're beloved of Gaia and we are given the choice to make the most of our meat suits or make robots who are so-called artificial intelligence. I can't help but say that I think of this as an incredible failure of imagination on the part of graceless or spoiled, maybe she spoiled us. We take her for granted because she is granted. She granted us her. She granted us, what's it called? Something on the voyage. She granted us passage on the voyage of the great spaceship, planet Earth, mothership. And we've been so much up in our heads. I mean, some of us have been so much in our heads that what we're up to is creating AI and money-making schemes that cost the earth. It's ultimate matricide. In any case, I feel glad to shift my attention to the humans who are aware, who notice that they are on Team Gaia, and that there is a way of being on Team Gaia that is for Gaia, is as Gaia, is with Gaia. In the words of Darjamal, with Earth till the end. Whatever that end may be, the end of my life, the end of humanity's lease on life, lease on Gaia. It's literally a lease on life. It expires either when you die or when Gaia's like, your lease is up. In any case, in the wake of this response from Seth, this conversation with Clinton that got me straightened out, and this conversation with Nicole, and responses from possibility managers named Wout and Laura, especially Laura McGurk, who I'm with in Nelson right now, and kind of, I'll say, fledgling possibility manager, John Alton, with whom I'm staying, who was the one who was the person who knew Nicole well enough and pitched meeting me well enough that she said yes. I've been able to, keep processing, keep imagining. John and I went to see a film last night called Dig Deeper. Wait, it had another title. It was a name that's in the indigenous language that I'm not remembering right now. But the indigenous language of a group of Indigenous who have been declared extinct by the Canadian government in times gone by, and who, despite taking this to court that they are not extinct, essentially we're told, yes, yes, you still are. Apparently there's just not a process that the Canadian government has that allows a nation that they've declared extinct to prove themselves not extinct, which again seems like a huge failure of imagination, because their reasoning is that since these people don't have their own government, they can't have a conversation with the government of Canada. I thought, well, if you've declared them extinct, how can they have a government? And would they even want a government? They're obviously governing themselves. So I thought it's a failure on the people's part. They could just be like, oh, okay, I forgot to tell you, I am the government of my people. Or am I not? Is there any resistance, fellow citizens of this nation? Probably not in this case. And, we might tell you that you're not the government anymore once you get this sorted out on our behalf. In any case, I watched that movie, and really it's about a society that bought a marsh on the end of a lake and did all this restoration work, this regeneration work. It was riddled with compacted roadways that were, making life impossible. And at first they thought, just let Gaia do her magic and regenerate herself. And then someone smart said, don't be stupid, it's going to take a really long time. And then they hired consultants, and they hired people to do this really beautiful work, I think, turning it into a regenerated place. I think all kinds of people involved, and bring the public there so that they can, no cars allowed. Love it. Like, let's turn more places into no cars allowed and dig up the compacted roadways, and literally like the pavement that's been paved over paradise, not necessarily only with parking lots, but with roadways. Declare more of these spaces, revert them to paradise, revert them to Gaia. This society did that. And then 5 years in, they were told, don't you know that this land base that you've bought, you now own? My grandma's getting a bit sarcastic, sorry. It used to be a village of these forgive me, extinct people for forgetting your name. I'm gonna say a word and I might butcher it, but it was like Sixquit. It used to be a village. There used to be a village there. And so these white society people who were white society people, they have a society that regenerated this, or had been working to regenerate this land for 5 years, reached out or got connected with this Sisquit people. I might be saying it wrong. I had this flash of like, you should do your research before you make these videos. And I'm like, fuck that, because I want to make them in real time. And I think one of my bright principles is emergence or imminency or something like that. I just don't want to get all the fucking facts straight. Like, people spend so much time getting the facts straight that they dampen the fire of enthusiasm for the project they're working on in the first place. So forgive me, maybe Sisquit people, for not doing the research and for just saying your name wrong if I'm saying it wrong. Oh my God, this thing about names and wrong names is a theme right now. So the society got in touch with the people and brought them out there and teamed up with them. And now basically the whole project is like centered on these people and Gaia. And this is the kind of work I want to do, except not with already mostly wild swamps, but the parking lots. It's the road part that I want to decompress Gaia, bring her back to life, bring life back into the parts of her that have been killed essentially by being stomped out, by being driven out. Oh my God. English is wild. Probably other languages are wild too, because to drive got turned into drive a car, like to drive a flock of geese across the mountains got turned into drive a people to extinction, even if they're not. To drive, to steer stories, to create stories and put them on reality that suppress reality, that kill reality, that kill the planet we were given to experience reality on. So, lying in my bed this morning, all of this is coming back to me. I'm waking up in this reality that's unfolding. This story of reality, this potential story of reality that's unfolding. The story of humans on Gaia, the story of Team Gaia, which looks like it's going to fail miserably. I mean, I love thinking of it as Gaia's risky human experiment. I declare myself a captain of Team Gaia, a generalized human of Team Gaia. It's like my gremlin loves switching these military terms. So far I'm a private. I'm working my way up in the ranks of Team Gaia as an army. You know, one thing Gaia didn't have until she created humans was a bunch of potentially conscious beings with arms and opposable thumbs. So this is like Gaia's army. I'm literally one of Gaia's army. I've got two of the arms. And I am looking for other two-leggeds with two arms who would join their arms, put their arms in with my arms. Yeah. What's that phrase about people take up arms? The arms I'm inviting you to take up are your own. To become part of Team Gaia, to mobilize humanity for Gaia and for Archiarchy. The part about Archiarchy is so key. We can't do it from the culture that the killing of planet Earth is made of. Good old Einstein saying we can't solve the problems using the same thought where they created them in the first place. I'm paraphrasing. So my next iteration of the project, of the vision as it comes down to earth from the sky in my mind, is kind of a youth corps, really. And next, the regeneration. You know, maybe they're called millennials right now, but I'm on a mission to have the generation of human beings that are coming alive on planet Earth right now, which I include myself in. You know, in terms of chronology, apparently I'm part of Generation X or something. But really, I'm part of the regeneration. We're just, we're figuring out how to fund our own fucking war. Not a war. It's not a war. It's funding our way out of war. Funding our way to train ourselves up to unwar, to not war, on all the scales, including the internal scale, where I put parts of myself to war against my other parts. And, breaking down into 5 bodies. I have a physical body, this saltwater meat suit. I have a mental body made of my stories and thoughts and beliefs. I have an energetic body that has been really not so alive, mostly because I have this emotional body, which I took up arms, sometimes even literally, to fight, to kill, to harm. And it is the emotional body that I've been bringing really back online, so as to bring my energetic body back online, so as to trim my overgrown mental body so that I can fit into and jack into my archetypal body, which is the body of my chosen purpose. And I say chosen because I've got to choose it. It's not granted. My purpose on Team Gaia is offered but not granted. It's a job that I need to say yes to. And this is what I'm inviting you into, is for you to nourish and care for and reorganize your 5 bodies so that you jack into your archetypal purpose, which you choose. Your destiny is optional. The destiny of a bright future for humans on planet Earth is optional to humans, and some critical mass of us has got to say yes and choose to be what we're built to be before we can tip the balance. And waiting for the government is just another word for choosing not to. I might be wrong about that. It might be Seth Klein's archetypal lineage to convince governments to join Team Gaia, to mobilize people to join Team Gaia, to give. The government is choosing for you that you have this option. Is it really you choosing? I guess so. Just don't want to wait. I'm hired. Gaia's already hired me. The government didn't need to give me the menu item. In fact, I've been learning to more boldly choose off the menu. I guess I'm inviting you to add this to the menu item of your inner world, to be on Team Gaia, to take up the handbook, to take up arms, to take up your own 2 arms, pick up the handbook, pick up all the other, you don't have to wait for the handbook even. You just join the Start Over XYZ game, which is a massive multiplayer, on and offline, create a bright future for humanity game by starting with the humanity that you are. Create a bright future for yourself, because no matter what happens collectively, possibility managers around the world are having the times of their lives, the times of our lives. I'm one of them. And letting ourselves be spaces through which bright principles are at work, archetypal forces are at work, including the 4 feelings: anger, sadness, fear, and joy, using them consciously to create the lives that we're here for. So this is the foundation of Archiarchy, is conscious feelings work. This is why I'm in Nelson. I'm going to be delivering with Laura Rage Club on Tuesday for Women of Earth. There will be other spaces that are co-ed spaces that men are invited to also. Edge workers, and the message will be life on planet Earth is at stake. Will you be on Team Gaia? Will you start by using the 10 distinctions of conscious feeling to regenerate yourself first. If your nervous system is not regenerated, how are you going to become a person who causes regeneration? I want you to tell me if that's what your experiment is. Tell me how you became a person who causes regeneration without having your nervous system up and running. Because, I mean, okay, you can create part-time regeneration, but this is about becoming an all-day, everyday regenerative being, regenerative human being on Team Gaia. Where you're not waiting to do the research to make sure you get the names right so you don't offend people. People can't see what you're actually up to. Maybe it's not your fault. And it's my responsibility to make visible what I'm up to in a way that makes people with eyes to see and ears to hear it, able to see and hear it. So what I'm thinking is probably a better idea in terms of who to talk to than maybe the Green Party people who weren't elected, are the Indigenous. And to say, look, I want you on, I want to be on your team. I'm on Team Gaia. I think you're on Team Gaia too. And I want to be on your team to help you each regenerate your nervous systems so you can raise your arms to your ancestors and to the 7 generations to come. And I was reminded in a conversation with Laura about a contact I made with a wild young woman of 7 generations to come. This happened in the Work That Reconnects process space. And she told me that legends are told about me in her generation as one of the great grandmothers of the village she lives in, which exists here in Western Canada, in the mountains. And she is new Indigenous. She is one of the generations of new Indigenous in this area. I talk a lot about how I want to be able to face my 4 children on my deathbed and have them say, Mom, thank you for everything you did so as to leave us a planet that is alive. And I am motivated by that. I live every day to make good on that seed, to make it possible. And I live every day to make that encounter with her, this wild young woman from 7 generations in the future, to make good on what she declared about me. And if you have children, if you don't have children, you're still an ancestor of the future generations. Maybe not by blood, but by deed. There's another wild word. Humans have turned it to meaning something else. The first job of Team Gaia is to figure out the basic funds just to stay alive. Shelter, food, transportation, enough clothes, a backpack to carry them in, electronic devices for communications until such time as we don't need those. I've worked that out, and I want to help you work it out if you haven't worked it out. It might be easier than you think because 99% of the possibilities available to you right now are invisible to you because of your box, because of your standard human intelligent thoughtware. And I have been upgrading my standard human intelligence thoughtware for about 4 years. And I might just now have Gaian thoughtware. I don't. There's more thoughtware left to upgrade, but I'm on it, and I will hold space for you to upgrade your thoughtware too. And I will take you to other teammates who are specialists about that. I think that's all for today. For right now. Today's just begun. Oh, Mitakuyasin. It's one of the indigenous ways of saying all my relations. And what I mean when I say that is my relation to every other being, every other element, every other entity on this beautiful earth matters to me. And I'm paying attention. Thank you for watching. Please reach out to me if this is turning you on to be part of more consciously. Goodbye for now.